scholars. So we've had a lot of those ones, and I don't think I can count how many we've had. So it's good to have everyone here, and I'm sure that we have a very experienced guest in our midst, and we're going to learn a lot, including me. So I'll get to know how to make more money, get into the industry and make more money. So it's my pleasure to sort of introduce everyone, welcome everyone to this event today as we get started. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Comfort, for that wonderful introduction. So I'm just going to introduce our guest. She's someone that I've known for a very long time. Yeah, but let me just be official today. Let me be official and kind of like just talk about profile. Yeah, she likes to be humble, which is good. Yeah, so she didn't write a lot of things. Yeah, so I'm not going to go deep into talking about a lot of things. Yeah, I think she just wanted that way. Yeah. So Dr. Blessing Ademokoya is an entomologist with over 8 years of research experience. She currently works in crop protection, discovery, and development. And she has a master's and PhD in entomology from Auburn University and the University of Nebraska Lincoln, respectively. And she had a Bachelor of Technology in Biology from my alma mater, Federal University of Technology, Akure, Nigeria. She loves singing and enjoys road trips. I'm sure there's so much about her that she decided not to write, so which is good. But she's gonna be talking to us about some of those things that she didn't put on paper. And so, without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Blessing to just take over the space and just kind of like teach us some of those things we need to do, to get ourselves ready for industry-related positions. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation.
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. I know some of you, and I don't know some others. So I wanted to see my face first before I switch to my screen. It says that you disabled screen sharing.
Sorry about that. Let me kind of like allow you to share your screen. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead. Yeah.
So today we'll be talking about developing skills that will prepare you for a job in industry. I wanted to be in academia. Like I wanted to do research and be a lecturer. The university is renting out the space to you, and then you're bringing out the money to pay your salary, to fund your students. So are you guys with me? Are you listening?
Yeah, I think your internet is kind of like buffering, so we lost you at some point. Yeah. I don't know if it's from my end. Comfort, did that happen from your own end as well?
Yeah. So it sort of seems like she froze for some minutes or some seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're freezing. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so please just exercise a little patience with us. I think the speaker's internet is not working very well, so. Okay, let me readmit Aya into the
Sorry, guys, I don't know what's happening with the internet where I am, but let's see if we can get back on track. So I said, when I got to the US, I realized that if you're a university professor, you're more like an entrepreneur without the benefit of entrepreneurship. And I wasn't sure I really wanted to put myself through that. And again, during my master's, my advisor lost a grant. And most of us in the lab, we were working on residual money from leftover grants. So there wasn't really like as if our research was being funded. He tried to hide it, but if you observe very well, you will notice that it was anxious. So at that point, I started to reconsider. And then during my PhD, I also had some personal trauma. And I told myself, you know what? I don't think I can put myself through this stress. So that was when I decided I was going to go to industry. But then, you know, as an international student, you have to keep your options open. So I was open to industry. I was still open to academia if that was the first job I got. But ultimately, I knew I wanted to be in academia. Sorry, I wanted to be in industry. So if you're like me, you already made up your mind before you even graduated, or if you're sitting on the fence and you're thinking, okay, maybe industry or academia, or if your mind is made up, whichever way, I think this talk is for you. You're in good company. And I believe everyone here has their different reasons for participating in this talk. And at the end of the day, I think I'll be able to convince you to come to industry. So a little bit about me, like Sean said, I went to the Federal University of Technology, that's FUTA in Akure, and I studied biology. I graduated in 2009. Between the 2009 and 2014, I did NYSC, and then I taught in a couple of schools. And it was a very good experience for me because it exposed me to A-levels, IGCSE, and O-level as well. That's Cambridge. So it was a very good learning experience for me. It challenged me actually because I've never seen O-level curriculum, Cambridge curriculum before that time. So I came to Auburn in 2014 to start my master's in entomology. I graduated in 2016. I moved, that was December. Then I moved to Nebraska in January of 2017 to start my PhD. So the mischievous person behind me there was my roommate. So back to the 2014 picture, I deliberately put it there because that was my first week of teaching biology to these secondary school students. And the SS3 student thought I was a new student who just started. So when I got into the class and I introduced myself, they were kind of surprised. So I asked them, do you have any questions for me? And they said, how old are you? That was the first question I got. But that's by the way. So after leaving Nebraska, I got a job with the University of Florida as a biological scientist. I never really liked the title called postdoc. So I tried to avoid it. Although if I didn't have a choice, I'll do it, but I tried to avoid that title postdoc. So in terms of job role, job expectations, and salary, it was the same as postdoc, but I had some benefits that the postdoc did not have. So I had sick days, I had paid time off, vacation days, I had a retirement account. And the job it's like a state job. So it's like almost full-time, like a permanent position. And then this is where I am currently with Corteva Agriscience. I started in January this year, so I'm still very, very green. But before we go into how I moved from grad school to Corteva Agriscience, let's talk about some facts and myths about industry. So back in school, I heard so many things about the industry. For instance, they'll say, hey, if you see a job advert, most likely there's someone they already had in the position. I don't know if anyone have ever heard of that. And then there is also the general thing that industry pays better. Is that a fact? Is that a myth? I think we all know the answer to that. It's a fact. Industry pays better. Is there like some better work-life balance? Based on my little experience and the people that I've spoken to, I would say yes. And so if you have any other facts and things you've read about our industry, you might feel free to share with us. But these are just a lot of things that I heard back then. So this talk is not, I don't know if I should call it skills. I'll just say things that you need to do and maybe things to not do if you want to position yourself for a job in industry. They're not really skills per se, as in not like you need some expertise. They're just things you imbibe on daily basis, things you can consciously, intentionally practice just to make yourself visible. And I've kind of put them under these categories. You need to be prepared first. How do you prepare? With your resume and your curriculum vitae? And I'll say that if you're applying for industry job, please use a resume. It's a more abridged version of what you've done, and it's usually very concise and focuses more on the results. So please use a resume and always have a cover letter. I never applied to a job without a cover letter. Some people don't like it. I mean, I've seen people complain on LinkedIn about the stress of them having to write a cover letter, but I always do. Be strategic, be visible, network. That networking cannot be overemphasized. Then there's internships and mentorships, and I'll talk about each one of these. I'll put them into 3 categories and then talk about them. So let's start with the first one, resumes and cover letters. Like I mentioned, always use a resume and have a good one, a good resume, a good cover letter before you even start your job application. So what I've done is, if I'm interested in industry XYZ, I want to apply there, I will look for someone who knows someone. If I don't know anyone in that company, I'll look for someone who knows someone, especially if the person just got hired in the last 2 years. So I'll ask them for a copy of their resume and cover letters and use that as my template. Of course, you know better than to plagiarize, you just need it as a guide. So for every industry, every position I apply to, I always make sure to don't forget, look for someone you know in that industry, in a similar position, ask for the resume, ask for their cover letters, and use it as your guide. Another thing that I do is I have like a folder for resumes and CVs. So if I come across your resume, I like it, I'll ask for a copy and keep it there. So that it might come out handy one day. When I was a student, sometimes we'll sit on committees that maybe award committees, and people send in their CVs. Sometimes the department might want to hire someone, or someone is coming to give a talk or seminar, and they share their CVs ahead of time with us. So some of them are from industry, some from academia. I save all of these. I keep them in a folder, and when the time comes when I think I need it, I'll go dig it up and then use this as my template. So I would like to share this with you. This is mine. So for my current job position, this is what I submitted. It's just 2 pages, no more. Everything summarized. And if you're thinking, there's no way I can get all my information into 2 pages, there's a way around it. Like I said, I talked to someone who just got employed in the last 2 years. She shared a sample with me, and this is what she did. So let's say you have 10 publications and there's no space for everything. Just list like 2 or 3, and then you put in parentheses to let them know that there's more. If you have 15 awards, but you could only list 3, put the 3 there, but put it in parentheses that you are only including 3 out of 15. So that way they know there's more, but at the same time, if you've been able to shorten everything to fit into your 2 pages. This is an example from a very good friend of mine. She works with PPD, which is a pharmaceutical company, and it's just 1 page, straight to the point. And she got this job the semester before she finished graduate school with just 1 page of CV. So it doesn't have to be a lot for it to be relevant, for it to make sense. Little can be, if you summarize your 1 page very well, it can be enough. And for this position, she got like, her salary was like $95,000. Don't worry, we're going to get to salaries later. For my cover letter, I also have a template that I use, but this template is usually modified to the job position. So I look at whatever requirements, the eligibility, the responsibilities that they ask for in those in the job advert, and then I modify my cover letter to reflect that. And like I mentioned, as the same thing you do for the CV, do it for the cover letter. Ask people, Ask them for a copy of their cover letters. Use this as your template. Of course, I don't have to say this over and over. Do not plagiarize. And always ask for help. For every 5 people you reach out to, I can assure you that 4 will respond and 3 will actually follow through to help you review your CV and cover letters. So reach out to people, let them go through it, let them review it for you. So now we're looking at being strategic and being visible. So for every job that I ever applied to, I always had a connection. I never randomly applied to a position. Why did I do this? I graduated in December. I started applying for jobs in December, the same month that I graduated. So I didn't have a lot of time. So what I did was, if I see a position and I saw that, oh, okay, this person at some point collaborated with my advisor, I will apply to that position and then follow it up with an email to let them know. Another position that I applied for, I attended the woman's talk. I asked questions, and because of the interaction, she was able to remember me. So when I applied for the position, I followed it up with an email and told her, oh, I was this person who talked to you about this at your talk that you gave on so date. And she responded, she said, yeah, I remember you. And then we fixed an interview and I got the offer. So make yourself visible, talk to people, interact. She was able to remember me because I asked the question during the talk. Be very, very strategic. When I go to LinkedIn and I see people say they submitted like 100 job applications or 200 job applications, I'm wondering, where did they have the energy for that? I definitely do not. So I was very strategic. If I do not see a connection, I'm not applying for it. There are positions that I applied to because the person was my master's advisor. I applied for a position in Texas A&M, and my master's advisor already got a new position there. And then I applied, I sent an email to the guy, introduced myself, and make him know that that was my master's advisor. It got me an interview. So I'm not saying this strategy is going to always get you the job offer, but it will get you an interview. And of the 6 jobs that I applied for in December of 2021 when I graduated, I got 3 job offers out of it. The other 3, I had to send them an email that I got a job because it did not even fix the interview. So be strategic about your job. Don't just throw your CVs around. It will sap your energy. Imagine applying for like 50, 100 positions and you're not hearing anything back from them. You're not getting an interview invite from them. It's gonna make you not happy. So be very strategic about it. So when we go for conferences, we meet people and then they give us their business cards. You keep them somewhere. December of 2021, I brought out all those business cards that I've been gathering from my master's. I don't know if you can see my video, and I don't know if you can see that. I brought out all of those cards and I started reaching out to these people one after the other. Be very, very intentional. Conserve your energy. There's so many things stressing you already. Don't add additional stress to it. So, and then another part of being visible is to be very active. If your department is organizing something, there's a seminar, they're inviting someone from the industry, participate in it. If they're hosting the person for dinner and they want students who will go along for the dinner, volunteer, go for it. Be part of the organization team. So that there's somebody that I collected his card and then I reached out to him and I said, oh, do you remember me when we did your alumni dinner? I was part of the organizers and we went to dinner together. He said, yeah, he remembers me. And what did he do? He connected me to someone, gave an internal referral, and they sent me this job link to apply for it. So be very, very strategic. And the way to make that work is be visible. Because if you don't make some connection with this kind of people, you can't just be sending them emails. And it's easier to let them know that you met them somewhere, you had this connection with them at some point. I hope somebody is getting my point. So this is kind of linked to other things, but conserve your energy, be strategic, make yourself visible in your student organization on campus, in your professional associations. When you go for conferences and meetings, volunteer, be visible, talk to people. Let them see you, let your name be out there. Last week, just this week, I had a meeting. We had a meeting at the headquarters, and this woman, she's not part of our team, but she came to observe, and we got talking during one of the break, and she was like, your name sounds familiar. I've seen it somewhere. Were you at some point, did you write an article on entomology today? Were you featured on entomology today? I said, yes, I was featured on entomology today at some point. Now you see that when your name is out there, people see it. And at some point, they're going to make the link, they're going to make the connection. So make yourself visible. The next thing I'm going to talk about will be networking, internships, and mentorships. So I wanted to do an internship, but COVID happened. And so then, like I said, I suffered some personal tragedy. So I had to like jettison that idea. So I didn't do an internship. But most people that I talk to in industry, when you ask them, how did you get it? They said, oh, I did an internship with this company, or I did an internship with their competitors. And that kind of gave them like a foot in the door. I mean, except you're a really, really bad person and you did a lousy job, there's no way you will do an internship with a company and you will not get a job. And it won't give you an advantage. So most people that got into industry easily, right out of grad school, if you talk to them, they'll tell you at some point, I did an internship. So even if it's for 3 months, try to squeeze an internship into your graduate program. And then, like I said, when you go for society meetings, a lot of these industries have mentorship programs, like Corteva. They have mentorship programs where students can sign up and then they pair you with a mentor in the industry, and then they follow through with you. So what that does is, if there's a position, you can ask that your mentor, because they've known you for a while, you can ask them to give you an internal referral. And that gives you an advantage over someone who is just applying randomly on the internet. So their mentorship programs, look out for them, sign up for them, and follow through. And then internships, if you can squeeze it into your program, it's a no-brainer. So many people that I spoke with, they told me internship was their gateway into the industry. And then networking. I know we've heard this words over and this networking over and over and over and over, and probably getting tired of hearing it. And some of you might be wondering, like I once did, where do I start from? Especially if you're an introvert. Seriously, networking is not a big deal. It's just talking to people and making friends, intentional friends. So when next you go to your professional meetings, make a list of your target industries. They usually have their booths or stores with their representatives there. Some of those representatives are hiring managers. Make it a habit to go to those booths and talk to them. Let them know your name, let them know your face. Meaningful conversations. And when you're done with that conference, don't just forget about it. Still follow through with them. You can even ask them to, if there's no mentorship program in your association, you can ask those people personally if they can mentor you. It works all the time. I'm still going to go into details about this, but my current manager, I met him at the ESA meeting in 2021, and we just spoke briefly. I'm still going to go into details of that. But please, networking is very, very important. You can before your conference, you can look at the people who might be in attendance. You can reach out to these people and make an appointment with them. Take them to lunch, take them to dinner, have a breakfast conversation with them. One of my friends that we got into the industry at the same time, we're in the same company now, but different locations. She told me that one time she met our manager, she fixed an appointment with him and they went on breakfast together during one of the conferences and they talked. That was 2 years ago. So this is how to make this connection. Be very, 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 very intentional about it. And I can assure you that in those industries, somebody once mentioned that industry would usually send their representatives to monitor students that are doing well. I heard that during my second year of PhD. And I confirmed it now that I'm in industry. They have talent folks who are going around watching everyone. So if your name is out there, know that you are on their radar. They are watching out for you. Some have a list, like a physical list, some do not. But just know that they have talent folks and they have hiring managers who are representatives of the industry watching out for students who are outstanding. Okay, so to my Delta story. So Delta stands for Developing Emerging Leaders and Talents in Agriculture. I told you I met my manager in a conference in 2021. So I connected with him on LinkedIn immediately. And it was on his LinkedIn page that I saw this, he posted it. So I think about it. What if I did not connect with him on that meeting and then sent the LinkedIn invite? Would I have seen this, let alone applying for it? So the opportunities that comes with networking could be in various formats. It may not yield a job immediately, or it can push you in the right direction. So I saw this, I applied for it. And when I look at the eligibility criteria, I told my friend, I said, this is a recruitment event, because one of the eligibilities is you have to be in your final year of PhD or a recent PhD within 1 year of graduation. So I applied for it, I got picked, I got selected. I prepared so we were to go to the headquarters to talk at the symposium. I prepared my talk, my slide, and sent it ahead of time. These are the participants. We're kind of more than this. I think some people are missing in this picture. So we went, and it was a very, very, very enlightening experience. And right now, I can tell you that this guy to the second guy to the right is currently an intern with Corteva. I'm working as a postdoc in crop protection, discovery, and development. The girl beside me just defended her thesis, a PhD dissertation just on Friday, and she's starting a position with Corteva next month. And there's another person I've been told, I don't know who the person is yet, but they told me the person is coming in June. So you can see that the program yielded some results. So that's 4 people. So this year they're going to have to, it's probably too late for the first one because people got selected have been invited. The first one for this year is going to be next one. It's going to be next month. And then there's going to be another one probably in summer or fall. But watch out for it. So if you're an analytical, if you're a chemist or biochemist or anything in agriculture, there's position in industry for everything. Even if you're arts and humanities like HR and co. IT, data management, there's room for everyone. So watch out for opportunities like this on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and apply for them, because if you don't apply, you don't know if you're going to get it or not. And don't forget my journey from where I started. I connected with someone in a conference, followed up with a connect on LinkedIn, and then I saw this this thing when he shared it on his page. So some other extra things I would like to talk about is our habits and our attitudes. To work in industry, you have to be open to learning and you have to be teachable. They will tell us all the time, our managers, they'll tell you that if you are the best in research, but you have a shitty attitude, you don't know how to get it along with people, you're going to be out sooner than you thought. So be teachable, know how to make friends, know how to get along with people. It's very, very, very important in industry. Like someone said, I attended a seminar during my master's, and the guy was from industry, and he said, if you applied for a position, we know you qualify. Because you saw the job description, you saw the requirements, and you applied for it, you have a PhD. We know you can do the research, but we are more interested in your soft skills, your relationship with people. That's why if you've seen anyone or talked to anyone who had ever did an interview with industry, they will tell you that a lot of the questions that they got were on people management. A lot of those hypothetical questions, they're on how to manage situations, how to manage people, not really so much on your research, because they know you can do the research. Even if you don't know, of course, you can't know everything 100%. You have a PhD, they will teach you. They won't just throw you out there. It's industry. They will put you through trainings. You will know it. But the soft skill, getting along with people, learning how to work in a team, that is very, 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 very important to them. Because in academia, we don't really get to work with people as such, except if you have an, an undergraduate assistant or you have a postdoc who really has your time. Most of the time you do your research by yourself. From beginning, you write your proposal, you design the experiment, you collect the data, you write it up, you do everything by yourself. But in industry, it's not like that. Another person is writing the protocol, another person is carrying out, is implementing the research, is another person who is analyzing the data. So it's a teamwork, and everyone must get along together. So if you are that kind of person who doesn't get along with people, you're going to have a problem in industry. So work on that. Another thing is, if you are an introvert, it might be difficult. I'm an introvert too, and it's been a struggle. But you just have to like put yourself out there. You have to force yourself to make friends, force yourself to meet people, force yourself to start conversation with random strangers. You just have to do it. It's not in this, you can't be isolated. It's a people's world. So I understand it if you're an introvert, because I'm one too, but you just have to put yourself out there, and you're going to decompress later, or at least do what you have to do. Another thing with us internationals is we do not know how to blow our horns. Please, I'm still learning. I still don't know how to do it, but I'm better. Because the society where I come from, it's people who praise you, you don't praise yourself. Then I got to the US and I realized that, oh, any little achievement, people are like blowing it up. Even things that may seem not so big to you. You see other people hyping it. So during my master's, I went to the field one day for my usual collection, and then I collected this batch of eggs. And when they came out, I checked them under the microscope, and it looked completely different from what I've been working on. The long and short story of it is that it was a species that had never been reported in North America before. So I was the first person to report it. So I went to Maryland that December to spend time with my family, friends, and then I just casually brought it up, and they were like, blessing. So like, these people have been in the US for over 20 years. So they've Americanized a lot. And they were like, why are you not telling everybody about this? I was like, it's not a big deal. They were like, no, it's a big deal. Anybody you meet, that should be your conversation starter. You found something nobody else found in North America, and you are just quiet about it. No, you blow your trumpet, you blow your horn. And that's one thing I've noticed in America. People blow their trumpets a lot. And since you are in the system, you have to adapt to the system. So please learn to blow your horn. You see people on LinkedIn, on Twitter, everywhere, every little achievement they present in something, they are like throwing the information out there. Now, if there's a situation whereby they need to Google your names, who do you think will come out first? The person who is putting himself out there, or you who don't even use your social media for anything at all? So please learn to blow your horns. That is what works in this system. And you'll even be surprised that that person making the loudest noise is not even as good as you are. So please, I'm saying it again, that modesty, let's leave it in Nigeria or Africa or any other African country you come from. Please blow your horns, blow it very well. It helps in the long run. Because when opportunities come up, it is the person's name who is the person who is more visible. That is the name that comes to their mind. You will see people being nominated for 100 most influential. There's this lady, Adiola, she's a Nigerian, she's a Canadian and American as well. So you see her being nominated for 100 most influential Canadian women or something like that. She was able to achieve that because she put her name out there. Every little thing she's posting it, she's posting achievements. No matter how little it is, she posts it out there. So at the end of the day, when people who don't even know her, when they are making these selections on behalf of the country, her name comes up, because when there's a lot of Google search bringing out her results. So please learn to do that. Another thing I want to talk about is salary negotiations. Some of us shy away from that. I did not. And that was because I had a lot of people in the background cheering me on. So when you get a job, before you get to the salary negotiation part, before your interview, please talk to someone in that industry who is in a similar role. If you can't get someone in your role, look for someone in a similar role. Ask them for an idea of what the salary is. If you use all this Glassdoor and co, sometimes they are very, very, very inaccurate. I used Glassdoor and it was very, very inaccurate compared to what I got. So I had to go to the website to edit it so that anybody coming in next, I don't know, maybe the information was 10 years ago, but the salary was super low. So talk to someone in your industry that you're interested in. Talk to someone in a competitor industry. So for my position as a PhD entomologist going into industry, I know that Bayer will pay like 90,000, Syngenta will pay like 1995, FMC will pay like 110, Corteva will pay like 110, 120, depending on location. So I already had these ideas and it was kind of easy for me to negotiate. Now I'm a postdoc, which means my salary is not as high as a entry-level scientist. But I use the salary of the entry-level scientist people as my baseline, and that helped me to negotiate. And one thing about us Nigerians, when it comes to money, we're so secretive, and my experience was not really nice. I spoke with Indians, I spoke with Chinese people, I spoke with Brazilians, people that I knew from grad school, and they were very open about their salaries. But my fellow Nigerians, oh Jesus, they would dance around it and never be specific. Mind you, these same people, they shot themselves in the leg because they asked for something too low. They lowballed themselves in the negotiation. Instead of them to now say, okay, don't make my mistake. This is what I asked for, but this is what I could have asked for. They still will not tell you. I had to tell someone specifically that we were in the same lab together during masters. I said, why are you people like this? Say, nobody will tell you salary. I said, no, it's Nigerians who don't say it. So please, if you need to negotiate your salary and you need someone to talk to, please come to me. I can always help with that. And before I forget, if you need help with your CV or cover letters, come to me as well. I will help with that. So when they offered me 78, and I spoke with someone and she said, nah, the gap is too much. How can they pay regular, a fellow PhD who came in not as a postdoc, how can they pay the person 110, 120, and they are offering you 78? That is too low, go up. And that was what I did. So I was like, okay, since it's postdoc, they may not want to offer me like the 100, so let me settle for 95. And I gave my reasons for the 95. I was like, I live in a state where there's no tax. I live on a subsidized accommodation provided by my job. And then I list a couple of other things. And I was like, if I'm going to leave this comfort and come to your industry, then you should step it up. And they came back to me and said, okay, we are opening it to 80, 84. I was like, yeah, I'll take that. I also didn't want to push my luck because it's a postdoc position. And it's way better than what I was collecting as a postdoc, as a biological scientist with the University of Florida. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take it. And I did. So please don't be shy about negotiations. Talk to people to have an idea of what you are worth. Don't lowball yourself. That's very important. I mentioned internal referrals already. If you already applied to the job, you already canceled your chances of getting an internal referral. So if you know someone in the industry, someone who could be like a mentor to you or a friend or someone who knows you very well, tell them to internally refer you first. Don't go to the website and apply. They will send you a different link for you to apply for the internal referral. So that's always a good one to always do that. And then there is always a balance between passion and comfort. So please find it. Yeah, you're very passionate about teaching and research and blah, blah, blah. But teaching and research will not pay your bills. You deserve a wage that makes you comfortable, that makes you live decently. So do not sacrifice your comfort for passion. Find the balance between the two. For instance, I love teaching. And I know that if I stayed in academia, I will continue to teach. So what did I do? I currently have like an adjunct instruction position with the University of Maryland, where I teach masterclass in summer. So that way I still get to teach and I do research with industry. So I found a balance between the two. So learn to do that. Do not sacrifice your comfort. you need that money. Now, I have a mentor who works in industry as well. And then one time I spoke with him and he was like, he likes academia, he still publishes, although publishing is not that important for industry, but he still publishes. I was like, why did you not go to academia? And he said, it's the money. When he finished, postdoc offered him 35, industry offered him 75. And he said, that was like 15 years ago, it's been a while. And he said they gave him the option. No, you can think about it and get back to us later with your decision. He said he looked at them and he told them, can I start tomorrow? Then they started laughing. No, take your time to decide. He said, there's no deciding. Can I start tomorrow? So he got the job. And he still publishes. So find the balance between the two. Make some money and do what you love. So to have a recap on everything we talked about, have a very good resume and cover letter, and to get that, talk to someone in your position in the industry you're interested in, tell them to share it with you, and draft your cover letter, share it with them, let them review it. Like I said, if you reach out to 5 people, 4 will respond and 3 will go through, from my experience. I've seen people reach out to me through Facebook, people that I don't know from anywhere. People reach out to me through LinkedIn, through all these other means, and I responded. And I've reached out to people and they responded. So please don't think you're going to burden people. There are so many people willing to help. So reach out to them, take advantage of that. Then be strategic. Don't just apply randomly. Apply to places where you think you have a connection, where you think you have a chance of getting the job. I already used my story. If I did not find a connection somewhere, I'm not applying to the position, because it's just one position and there are hundreds of people applying to it. So be very, very strategic. Make yourself visible. Be active in your student society, in your organization, in your department, in your university. Participate in events. Let your name be out there. Let your face be there. Let them see your face. And networking, everything is kind of connected with mentorship and internships. So we had a seminar one time where we simulated industry interview. And we had people from industry come give talks. And I asked the guy, I said, is it true that in industry, before they post a position, they already have someone in mind for it? And it was like, kind of yes and no. And then he mentioned the name of the girl beside me who was in the same department. And he said, she did internship with us 2 years ago. I've known her for 2 years now. If you both apply for the position and you both qualify, who do you think I'm going to pick? And that kind of answered my question. So all of these are linked together: the internship, the mentorship, getting yourself acquainted to people, making connections. All of it is linked together. And I think that brings me to the end of my talk. If you need to reach out to me through email, phone, those are my email and phone number. Please feel free to reach out. I'm always available to help whenever I can. And if you have any questions, I'm willing to take them now.
All right. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. It was very short and straight to the point. Thank you. I mean, the way you actually expanded on some of those points, I really enjoyed them. Thank you so much. Please, right now, if you have any question, you can either...
Yeah, maybe we should take the questions in the chat first. So
Okay,
someone is
right.
asking that, is there as much freedom in industry versus academia? Well, I would say that would be relative. It does seem like in academia that you have a lot of industry, but well, like somebody said, in academia, you work 18 hours a day. You just have to choose when you want to do the 18 hours. So you have the freedom to choose when you start, but then you're still being overworked. In industry, like I said, things are a little bit streamlined because you're not working alone. So if there's a deadline, you have to stick with the deadline because there's somebody in the pipeline waiting for what you're working on. Don't forget, I said, sometimes you don't even write your protocol. Somebody writes it and then they send it to you, you carry out the research. If the person who wrote the protocol is late, don't think it will delay the person who's supposed to carry out the research. And then the person who's supposed to analyze the data is going to get delayed. And then by the time they're supposed to submit the report, everything gets delayed. So because you do not control 100% of the time, so there's a little bit of constraint there, but it's not so bad. It's very well structured. And it also depends on your role. Is if you're a field scientist in my industry, nobody cares, nobody monitors whether you come to work at 7 or you come at 11, or even if you come to the station at all. What matters is, are you doing your trials? Are you getting in your data on time? Are you writing your reports and summaries on time? That's what that matters. So I would say this freedom thing has to do with your role, the kind of your job responsibilities, and yeah, I'll say it has more to do with your job responsibilities.
All right, thank you for that. Yeah, I think Dr. Nutifafa has a question. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. I just want to thank our speaker today. I mean, I've learned a lot myself, and the answer to the question too was on point. I think there is this misconception that there is freedom somewhere more than the other, especially if you compare academia to industry. It all depends on where you are working, the level at which you are also in the academia ladder. So that's the thing. And where the level you are also in the industry ladder, and the type of work you are involved in academia. If you are own boss, like you have your own group, you might think you have more freedom, but then you have other assignments that are coming your way. And there's also this misconception, and that's why I like this series that's been organized, that in terms of salary, there is a place that is better than the other. It also depends on your baggage, right? Of course, there is more money in industry than academia, but there are people in academia that are earning more than people in industry. So it's all relative. So thank you very much for all those clarifications. I'm happy to be here today, and that's all I wanted to add. Thank you. And I may also ask permission to drop out now. I have to take baby and madam to the shop, but I really appreciate your talk. And I think these are the things we also have to learn as academia and be able to provide advice to the younger generation. And I really like it. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah. I mean, you're free to go, sir. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, just to add to what you said about, sometimes some people in academia, sorry, actually earn more than people in industry. I mean, I remember vividly, people in what's it called? Drug production, maybe you're in the area of, cancer treatment and everything like that. I mean, if you have a very good product, and you're able to win, maybe kind of like get a patent on it. I've seen people who have collaborated with industry just because they are professors and they still get their money, just because they provided a particular product to the industry and the money keeps pumping in. Yeah. So it depends on your expertise, it depends on your level of, education or your current position in the academic ladder. And also for industry, it depends as well. For example, someone who is someone who is the president of a university, how much that person earns per annum. So everything depends. Yeah. Context matters. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, but if we were to look at
Yeah. I mean, on average, sorry. Yeah. On average, industry people earn more than academia. Yeah, that's correct.
So somebody asked, are these salaries per year or per month? So those things that I mentioned, they are per year. So like 100,000 a year, 120,000 a year. Yeah, so it's per year. My handle on Twitter is @Blessing Funmi. But if you type Blessing Ademokoya, you're going to see my LinkedIn account, because the way I spelled the Funmi is with PH. So, and the Blessing was spelled differently. So just better to type Blessing Ademokoya, or I can even type it here. Yeah, so if you're looking for my Twitter, it's going to be @Blessing Funmi, or you can just type my name. then yeah, to lead you there.
All right. Yeah, please, if you still have any question, please feel free to ask the question.
Yeah, somebody is asking here that is it possible to get these roles in an MSc only position? Yes, yes. So we just had a meeting for new hires in North America, and some of us are MSc only, and it's the same job role. It just depends on if you have the experience.
Oh, nice. So I sort of have a question. By the way, you really did justice to this topic, and I sort of learned a whole lot of things. Thank you for that. So you mentioned that you currently work as an adjunct professor with
Yeah,
your
with the
job
University of Maryland.
Yeah, so that has sort of been like my dream sort of job, and I think you are sort of the first person I've met that is able to strike a balance between the two. So in your own experience, from your own experience, do you think it's easy to get an adjunct professor job while still working in the industry? Does your company know about that you also have a sort of side job at the university? How does it work? Like
Yeah.
Is there no breach of contract or something? I really want to understand how that works.
No, there's no breach of contract. You are not discussing their research in your classes. So no, there's no. When I applied for the position, when I applied for this position, it was written on my resume that I have an adjunct instructor position. So it was on my resume, they already saw it. And then I spoke with my manager about it, and he said, yeah, he's also an adjunct professor in Virginia State University. And he sits on student committees, and also, yeah, that is good. There's no conflict of interest. So talk to your manager about it, or to your HR person about it. I don't think it doesn't hinder you. Your industry job shouldn't hinder you from doing that.
Oh, okay, nice. Thank you very much.
Any other questions, please?
Somebody said, but
okay.
Does the number of years in MSc through to being a postdoc directly lead to being an LPR and virtually a citizen if one is fine same? If you don't mind me asking, what is LPR?
Permanent residency. It sounds more like permanent residency.
Oh, legal permanent resident. Okay. I really don't know how to answer this question. But are you trying to ask if the industry is going to sponsor it, or if your immigration status has anything to do with you getting the job? Or so I know that if you spent 5 years in the US, you are legally considered as a legal
resident alien. Yeah.
So resident alien. So at that point, you
can. I think that's for kind of like tax purposes or something.
For tax purposes, and I think you can decide to petition for your green card by yourself using the EB1, EB2, NIW. So I think as long as you spend like 2 to 3 years, I've seen people who got their permanent residency while still in graduate school. So I think as long as you spend 2 to 3 years, you should be able to like self-petition if you want to.
Do we still have any other questions? I mean, you can.
Yeah, I think I when I talked about my friend who used the 1-page CV for a job, she only wrote 2 job experiences, what she had in graduate school during PhD and the job she had in Nigeria. Those were the things she listed. And then she spoke with people in the industry and they said, they're offering you 80, that should be fine. But she was like, I know I'm worth more than 80. So she negotiated. She negotiated to 100 and then they offered her, I think 95 or 98. And she was like, that's close, I'll take it. So don't be afraid.
Oh my God. That's a lot. Almost, I mean, in some context for some postdoc positions, if you're not careful, that person is gonna be earning like almost times three of what you are earning.
Mhm. And you know, it's gonna hurt you if you get into the position and you realize that someone that you do the same thing is earning $40,000, $50,000 more than you. It's gonna make you feel bad. So that's why you should do your assignments before you agree to the salary.
Oh my God. So, I mean, from your experience, I mean, like, looking at the Nigerian cultural side of things, where people are secretive about releasing details about salary. So, who do you think? I mean, like, in terms of asking questions, I mean, how do you think you can actually go about that? Much more intentional. Yeah, intentionally.
Well,
Yeah.
I think from talking to someone after like 2 or 3 sentences, if you think they're diverting, if you are close enough to them, I have a friend, we were at Auburn together, did masters, and we are even in Koteva together right now. I talked to him, he was beating around the bush, and it was like, they offered me 100. I said, I'm not asking you what they offered you. What did you get eventually? It was not like, okay, then he told me. Then we talked about it later, and I was like, what's wrong with you Nigerians? I was like, yeah, but he told me, and I said, I forced it out of your mouth. You didn't tell me. So if it's someone you are close to that level, please force it out of their mouth. There's another one that I spoke to. He put the phone on speaker. His wife was listening, and the wife was like, why don't you want to tell her? She's not asking about your package and benefit. She's asking for your basic salary. Just tell her. So, so if it's someone you are close to that level, please force it out of their mouth. But if you are not that close and you see that they're being reluctant, leave them and go to someone else. That someone who will tell you. And that's why I'm saying this now, so that we can stop this culture of lowballing ourselves. Let it stop with us. Let us be willing to share this information with others. So tell people, that this guy told me when I came in, what I asked for was too low. And when I wanted to negotiate, they were like, no, initially you told us this is what you would take, and you cannot negotiate anymore. And that was because he didn't know better. Now you made this mistake. Why are you not willing to share it with others so they don't make the mistake you made? I don't know what is wrong with us. I don't know why we do it. But like I said, if you need information, I can give it to you. I can talk to friends that I know in all of these industries and help you get the information and get back to you. So talk to people that, at least if you talk to 5 people, 1 or 2 persons will respond. So just do your hit and miss, and hopefully 1 or 2 persons will tell you the right thing. And please let that culture stop with us. Let's help each other. When we look at the Asian communities, the Indian communities, they share information with each other a lot, and it's really helped them.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Alex, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I'm so glad to listen to your presentation, and I could really reflect and add them to myself. And thanks to Comfort for sharing the flyer on Twitter. So I just stumbled on this accidentally. So my question is this: if you had the experience and the knowledge about finances and pay differences between academia and industry, would you have still opted to do your PhD?
I still would have done it. So PhD was something on my bucket list. I tell people it doesn't matter what I studied in school, even if it's Yoruba language or flowering plants, I would still have gotten a PhD. It didn't matter. It was on my bucket list.
Okay, because I was wondering the financial pay for PhD students and what you could almost start earning with your MSc degree in the industry. So thank you so much for the information.
You're welcome. So somebody is asking about how they can get the recording. Shaun, I think you should be able to answer that.
Yeah, they will always get the recording. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's on YouTube currently now. Yeah. Then, yeah. The moment I was recording, I also kind of like have it live on YouTube, so they can always go to the YouTube, and I can share the just type Scholars Connect on YouTube. You're gonna get all our recordings, and they also, I mean, that particular YouTube page has previous recordings as well. So if you're interested in other materials, you can always search. Yeah.
Okay, so Alex Bimbo said she would like to ask a question, but her mic is not working. So I don't know if she can type it. Alex Bimbo Notunji, can you?
No, I think it was the one that
Oh,
just asked
yes.
you the question. Yeah.
Oh, I see. All right.
Okay.
Sorry
All
about
right.
Yeah, so I have a question to ask. So you talked about redoing internships while in grad school,
Mhm.
and I'm a new PhD student. So I just started my PhD, and I understand I sort of chipped it in with my PI, and it's like, no, if you have to do an internship, it has to be something that is relevant to like the research work I'm doing in the lab, and it's going to be useful in my project. So how will I get like a position, an internship position that is doing something exactly related to what I'm doing in my research? So I don't know how to go about that. Or do you have an idea how I could do that? Because that's like a tough.
Yeah, because you can't, if you're going on internship, you have to get a CPT or what? Curriculum practical training form, and your advisor will sign off on it.
Yeah.
So now the impediment is your advisor.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but if I were you, I will probably try to get my research objectives done on time, and then maybe 2 semesters before I graduate, when I have just writing to do. At that point, you can't say
research.
The skills will no longer be valid at that point, because all I'm doing is just writing. Maybe the last 2 semesters before you graduate. Maybe you can wait till that time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Thank
because you need
very
him to sign off on it.
Yeah. Thank you.
I don't know if you have any other question before we round up. All right. I doubt that. Sorry. So, thank you so much, Dr. Blessing Ademokoya, for this. I mean, a lot of things that you shared today are kind of like revealing, especially as to how you can actually, leverage on industry opportunities. Thank you so much for not holding back. A lot of people have actually held back on some info. Well, thank you for not holding back. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And thank you for actually allowing us to get in touch with you in a very short time, to have you come and talk to us. Yeah, thank you so much. And for others who are on this session, please, this is a Scholars Connect, and we hold this meeting every quarter. So we bring up guests in different spheres of life, maybe in academia, volunteering, industry, and whatever you can think about. And also on a monthly basis, we have a Twitter space where we also discuss things that are relevant for prospective, current, and those who are done with grad school. So please just follow our page, Scholars Connect, on Twitter, and also check our YouTube page as well. And any of the information that you are actually looking for, you're gonna see it there. And just keep on watching out for us for other important events that are gonna be coming up very soon. Thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much, Dr. Blessing, once again.
Yeah. Oh, you're very much welcome. Nice to meet all of you. Please feel free to connect. Always to help whenever I can.
All right. All right. Bye, everyone. Yeah. See ya. Let me see right now.
Is on that. The room for Alice. And she has not left. So I want to talk to my friend.
Where's that talking? What's friend?
Huh?
What's friend that?
It's my friend.